And that's the way we're going until George Floyd got killed. I think that would have been the best way to approach things. Once George Floyd got killed, I mean, I think that, all reason and willingness to compromise went out the window. So then it's like, okay, so we're getting rid of all the Civil War statues. Okay. Now the battle has moved on. So how about all the slaveholders? How about if the slaveholders were among the founding fathers? How about if those slaveholders, like Thomas Jefferson, maybe they owned slaves, and it was very, very complicated because one of the reasons he couldn't free his slaves is because he was so in debt, and they were collateral, legal collateral, and given the laws of the time, he had very little, almost no leeway to free slaves. But given the fact that how do we treat these slaveholders? And I guess the way I look at it is this. Let me use a football analogy. In the realm of freedom and advancement of human rights, do they move the football down the field, or they fumble a football and get sacked and move it backwards? They just move it a yard up the field or 10 yards up the field. And so I feel with Thomas Jefferson, for example, and George Washington and our founding fathers, who articulated the universal principles applying to all men, not just the rights of Englishmen, okay, of equality before the law and equal rights, and in many cases were moved by their own principles, in many cases to manumit slaves where they could, and to pass laws restricting slavery, the slave trade, and doing other things to ameliorate the condition of slaves. They couldn't, given the circumstances of the time, they couldn't score a touchdown. They couldn't get to where we are today. But they moved the ball down the field 10 yards or 15 yards, okay? And America moved closer to freedom and closer to the ideals that we have today because of those men. And the idea of trashing their memory because they couldn't score a touchdown, they couldn't get it all the way across the finish line, and they didn't live up to the ideals that we have today, I find is just monumentally barbaric.
All right. Well, I think it's nuts too. So I'll just say that my voice won't be in there. It's ludicrous.